Hi, this is Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow and my rescue dog Buddy, bringing you another edition of Cooking with Janet. It seems like when I don't get out there, you're always asking where I am. Well, you know, I have all kinds of things that are going on during the summer, which keeps me busy. And I also want you to remember to look at some of those older podcasts, because last summer I took you through a lot of vegetables that are very, very easy to prepare, good, nutritious food. And of course, it's the same vegetables that basically are in season now. So I'm creating some different recipes, and in the midst of it, my little nut grinder that I've used for years and years finally broke, and I'm waiting for another one of those to arrive, and I ordered more almonds and those didn't arrive. So, you know, I'm kind of pinch hitting here to show you some different things that I hope you'll enjoy. And we're going to start over here with a really nice cake. I have gone ahead and put in my bowl, now this is Brazil nuts, so I'm going to try that out. Usually I do almonds, but I had Brazil nuts in the freezer. And because my spice grinder has broken, I ran it through my Cuisinart, so it's not as fine a meal as I like, but it will be okay. And the same thing, I have a cup of, well actually it should be a cup and a half, but since it's an experiment with the Brazil nut, so I would put in here a cup and a half of almond meal and a cup and a half of the buckwheat. Which again, it's not as nice a flour as I like that when I run it through my spice meal, but it will still be okay. I've made this cake a couple of times as an experiment. It turned out really great. So this is your base, and remember buckwheat is a herb. An herb, I guess, is the way you would say that. It's an herb, and it's full of really wonderful things for you. In here, I have a cup and a half of my unsweetened coconut milk, which I use in place of milk most of the time, no carbs. A half a cup of olive oil. That's going into my mix. I have 5 tablespoons of aluminum-free baking powder. That's going in. And sea salt. Now mine is really strong, so I just put a sprinkle in. Maybe 1/4 teaspoon, maybe a tiny bit more, but not much, otherwise you're going to have a salty cake. But it's enough to give it a nice flavor. I have 2 teaspoons of organic cinnamon that's going to go in. That's good. I have 2 organic eggs going into my mix. And I have 3/4 of a cup of coconut crystals. Now remember, the coconut crystals have about half the carbs as the general sweeteners that are out there. This is the lowest carb that I have found. So if you are using something different, you can probably cut your sugar back a little bit. But the reason I like the coconut crystals, because it does give me bulk, which oftentimes you need that in a recipe. So that is the basis for our cake. And the nice thing about this cake is it's delicious and it is nutritious. So when you eat it, like for instance, again, this is going to be in a 9x12 pan. If you're one person, you can freeze this. And what you want to do when it comes out of your oven and it's cooled off, cut it into squares, put it in individual servings, and stick it in your freezer right away. Don't do it later when you're halfway through, because this way when you unthaw it, believe it or not, it's going to taste practically fresh from the oven. So do your thawing and freezing right away. But because it is so nutritious, again, if you're in a hurry, you can eat this for breakfast as a coffee cake. I would not hesitate to do that. A mid-afternoon snack to pick you up is good. So this is going to go, and I've already sprayed it with some non-stick, I think it's organic olive oil. So this goes into the pan. My oven is preheated already at 350, but I'm going to put a little topping on it, which is nice. So I'm going to show you that in just a second. And I figured all my carbs in. And when you figure all your carbs, this whole cake, I cut it into about 5 pieces going this way and 8 pieces going this way, and each piece only has maximum 7 to 8 carbs. So it's really a nice treat. Oh, before I do this, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my butter on. And you can use any kind that you want. I have goat butter right here. And you can also use cow butter, of course. And I cut it into cubes. And I put it right into the mix. And it really works out well. And you know, again, it's up to you. I usually use, you know, for something this size, 2 to 3 tablespoons. It's going to sink in and make a really nice topping. A little bit more. So I maybe as much as 4. Doesn't really matter. Butter's low carb. So I like to dot it around, and it will sink into the cake, which is nice. Okay, then I take a little bit of my cinnamon, and I buy my cinnamon in bulk. Lightly sprinkle your cinnamon over the top, and then I have about 1/4 cup more of the coconut crystals, and I sprinkle that over the top to give it a little bit of a crust. And again, you can more or less depending on what you like and if you're watching your carbs or not. Okay, so the whole cake itself only has about 275 carbs in it. So when you make about 40 pieces, again, it's very low carb. And 350, and it goes in the oven. And you want to bake it about, I found for me, about 25 minutes. I did it 30 minutes the other day, and it was a little bit drier than I like it. And 20 minutes doesn't seem quite enough. So that's my oven. You're going to find what works best for your oven and the way you like it. I like mine a little bit moist. You might like yours a little bit more crunchy. Okay, and through the magic of television, we have some of the done cake for you to take a look at. So as I said, it's very good, it's very nutritious. Sometimes we serve it with berries or whipped cream on it to make it a little bit fancier or prettier, it's up to you. But anyway, it's a delicious, delicious cake. So I'll set this aside while that's baking because I have one more tasty summer treat I want to show you. So give me just a second, I'm going to clean my kitchen up and I will be with you in just half a second. Okay, got my kitchen cleaned up, we're ready to roll again. I'm going to show you a fun summer dessert to make. It's fun for adults and it's fun for children, and it's very, very simple and easy. So what I have here is I have a couple Parfait glasses, and you can use these yourselves, or if you have a flat bowl like this, you can do the same, or even on a plate. And so it just depends, but I like these because I think they're a lot of fun. So I start out, I have my sheep's milk yogurt, and just dumped it all over my maple syrup here. Okay. And then I take my maple syrup, and depending on how sweet you want it, I probably put in maybe about 1/4 cup. And that might be a little bit too much, but that will get me going. Start off with a couple tablespoons and see. You know, yogurt is a little sour, and of course the maple syrup is going to give it a nice flavor. And you can use your own yogurt, but I prefer the organic sheep. Remember, I can order that online, blacksheepcheese.com. And they used to be free shipping. They are not anymore, so it's a little bit more expensive, but I still like it compared to everything else I can get. So it's very nutritious. So what you want to do is you want to take your Parfait cups, and you want to put just a little dab in the bottom because that'll fill up the hole. And I have some lovely organic blueberries from Cindy. Those are going to go in next. And then I have now, I like walnuts the best, or pecans, and again I ran out of my walnuts, so I have some pecans here. I'm going to set a couple halves aside for decoration at the top. And I'm going to cut these up. Now, another thing that I've done, I'm not going to do it today, but another thing I have done is I have also cut up a little bit of 85% organic chocolate and sprinkled that in there as well. And that also makes a nice addition. And again, you know, everything is only limited by your imagination. It depends on what's happening. If you've got company that stops by real suddenly and you want to serve something nice, or maybe people that you don't see too often. Okay, now then I have here, I chopped up a little organic cantaloupe. So put that in as a layer. And we're going to sprinkle a few little nuts in there. And a little bit more of the yogurt. And I have a little peach. Which, there's a peach. Cut that up. And again, you know, you can layer as many different kinds of fruits as you want. Doesn't matter, it's going to be tasty. A few little nuts in there. And, you know, I'm not a big nut eater, so when you see me putting the nuts in, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. But it's amazing that the way the textures and the flavors combine. So even though I'm not a big nut eater, I do like it in this particular dish. And once in a while in other things. Okay, now for the top. Again, I'm just going to finish chopping up these little pieces. This is, well, actually, I'm going to put a little cinnamon across the top. This is nice. And you can do that. You can layer it with the cinnamon as well. Okay, and we're going to do a few of the little nuts across. A few blueberries. Okay. And remember presentation, so a nice nut. And like I said, you can put a square of chocolate on there. You can cut up some chocolate and also put that on the top. Everything is only limited by your imagination, but who doesn't want to sit down and have that for dessert? It's a nice ending to a nice meal. It's a nice afternoon snack, a good pick-me-up. So again, you know, it's presentation. What you put in your body is what you put in your mind. And so if you want a beautiful world, you want to put beautiful food in and things that make you feel good and healthy and that you enjoy. So with that said, I want to thank you for joining me, Janet Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow, expansions.com. I look forward to visiting with you on the membership side of my site. The blog is an amazing way to learn and grow. We're doing Truth and Trust in July, and it seems to be we're going to be working on family issues in August because that's kind of what keeps coming up for people. So we need to get these issues addressed. And of course, I have the wonderful Removing Financial Blocks program going on right now. Excellent pricing for you because we're taking into account that you have some blocks that need to be removed. So please join me there. And there's just so many ways that we can interact together, and I appreciate your time, I appreciate your attention, I appreciate your support of expansions.com, and your giving to us means we can give back more to you. So enjoy your summer, enjoy your food, enjoy what goes into your mind, enjoy what goes into your body. Have fun, bye-bye.